Today on the show, we bring back the segment, What the Hell Did I Just Watch? The movie, Ex Machina. All this and more on What the Hell Did We Just Watch? Welcome to another episode of What the Hell Did We Just Watch? I'm your host, Lumotional Lou, and this is the show that helps spread movie awareness. And also now, because of Legion, TV awareness every Monday. How's everybody doing this week? I hope everybody's having a good one. I hope everybody's not having a bad day, because we don't want that. But if you are, there's nothing wrong with just putting in a movie and letting the day just kind of like disappear. So, go right ahead, but first, why don't you just sit back, listen to this episode of Ex Machina. Ex Machina is a very interesting film. I really went in and I started to just watch it. I just thought it was a movie about a guy that invented a robot and interacts with it. It's just a little tad more. I thought it was very good. That's for sure. It was a very good film. And basically, I thought at first that it was kind of predictable. And I was like, but that's fine. Predictability doesn't make a bad film. But when I watched it, as I was watching it, I was saying to myself, well, what's so amazing about this film? I'm not, seeing it as the film is going. One of the things I really, really like about this film is that it's, for an independent film, it's just gorgeous. It's a very beautiful film. The AI looks amazing. The quality of the AI looks great. And also, I just want to congratulate Alex Garland for making such an amazing film. I did some research on him, and he is a writer, mostly. He started writing, and he's actually written some movies that I've owned that I never really noticed that he has written. This is his first film that he directed, but he's been writing for a while. Not only did he write Ex Machina, but he also wrote Dread, which I believe is definitely one of the best comic book related films out there ever made. He also was the writer for 28 Days Later, and that film was freaking amazing as well. So that's, goes without saying. It's good writing. That's what it is. That's what the film is known for. That's what everybody knows 28 Days Later mostly for. He was actually a novelist who turned into a screenplay writer who also now became a director. And now I could just tell you this. I can't wait to see what else he has under his belt, so, let's keep it moving. He also, one of the things that I saw that he wrote an episode for a cartoon series, a Batman cartoon series from 2008 called Batman Black and White. That's pretty interesting because I know the comic series, but I never knew they made a cartoon series of it. It was short-lived. It ran for like a year. So obviously, I don't know where the hell they even aired it. Was it online? Was it something? I'm going to look it up, see what that is, Now, Ex Machina. One of the things that I thought it was a very good film, like I said. What I loved was that I love how the film unravels itself. It's like an onion, like in Shrek. It's like an onion. It has layers, so it starts peeling itself very slowly, and then you start seeing the layers inside, and it just more potent, more rich, and that's one of the things I really loved about how this film was made. You are in Caleb, who's the main character. You're in Caleb's shoes, and you're learning as he's learning something new about the story or about what's going on in the film. And I like that. It's kind of like a POV, but not really. So basically, it's a film about a guy who works for this company who gets kind of like he wins a lottery where he is asked that he can spend a week with their CEO, who goes by Nathan, spend a week with him at his house, So he wins. He's very happy. He goes to his house. It was because he was trying to look for someone to interact with this AI that he has created that goes by the name Ava. That's why he ran this lottery, and I thought that was awesome, fantastic. But what I like about it is that in order for us as the viewer to get more into the story, there was like this scene where Nathan gives Caleb a non-disclosure agreement where he has to sign it. Now, if he doesn't sign it, he doesn't get shown anything. And if he signs it, he gets to know what's going on. Now, I love that part because we're on this kind of like sign it thing. It's like, all right, us as the viewer, we're going to sign it. We're going to just go along this journey because now we signed that long non-disclosure agreement, and I thought it was like amazing. Let's just put it like that. I just like that kind of interactiveness with the story and the audience and all that. So like you feel like you're in his shoes, in Caleb's shoes, and when he gets told that there's an AI, he's like amazingly like happy about it because, if you're like one of those tech savvy people, you'd be like amazed too. I was pretty amazed that he was going to see something like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Nathan asked that he run a trial for 7 days, and what basically it's called a Turing test. And what the Turing test is to interact with an AI to the point where you do not believe that what you're talking to is an AI and you think that it's a real person. So that is what Nathan wanted from him, so along goes the test. He comes to, I don't want to spoil anything because it's not when I do this specific segment, it goes, I try to keep it spoiler free, so I'm just giving you like the gist of it, how it goes. So like I said, he starts to interact with Ava, 7 days, all that. Now, basically, Caleb starts to have a relationship, both, in a conversational matter, and then into a personal matter, and then even into an intimate matter, like not sexual, but conversational wise, flirtation and things like that. And that's one of the things that amazed me about the film. But it's also one of the things that, because of this film, it raised a specific topic for me in my mind when I was watching it. And this is one of the things, this segment, what I want it to be about. This film will make you think when, I want to start with this conversation was how much is too much. And what do I mean by this? Man's obsession with creation. When is it too much? To have the power to create. The intelligence of man is our own destruction. I believe that, so before you listeners go and, turn off your devices, just let me explain. Just please let me explain. And if you're still listening, thank you. What I'm trying to say about the man's obsession, it will lead to our own destruction, is because we as humans and people, we feel that, the smarter we are, there's no end and there's no limits. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong. And I'm saying this because I side with this, because this film teaches you that, some people might watch it and be like, oh man, we need to stop. We need to stop. And I say too bad, because I believe in progression. Human beings believe in progression. We as people will always be curious to want to open that door wherever it may lead, especially people who create. There will always be a reason to go and keep moving forward and opening up no matter what risk. That's how we are. There's no such thing as we need to stop. Yeah, I know there's like these jokes and like, the Terminators got, with the whole thing, or even the movie Alien and all that, like those, things like that spark our curiosity, like with Alien. We find out that there's this killer alien on the ship and all this and that. And there's one person on that ship that needs to see if he can, if they can contain the alien so they can bring it back and study it. That's science. And then you have something like in the Terminator, where the creation of a war machine, fights back because artificial intelligence, that's, basically like how that works, right? When is it too much? Like, people want to create the most accurate artificial intelligence that acts and thinks like a human. But what they don't realize is that when we act and talk like a human, the human aspect of it is also not only the good stuff, but also the bad. So if you're creating an artificial intelligence, basically a machine that thinks for itself, it will start thinking all the positive things and all the negative things that it will need to survive, because that's how we are as human. And that's what some people don't realize maybe when they're watching it, they're like, oh, they separate themselves from what they're watching. And I totally get that. But then there's people like me who get all emotional about things. I see the progress of man and also the destruction of man at the same time. And that's one of the things that I found out that I got from watching this film. I asked myself after it finished was, when is it too much? When is it that we go too far? And I also answered my own question. I was like, there is no endpoint. We got to keep it moving forward. I believe in technology. I believe in the progression of technology. I believe in making things better. Unfortunately, if you want to put me in that demographic of like, do you believe in technology, or do you believe we should stop because, we can't continue to pretend to be God? That's how we are as people. Sorry. That all we want to do is create and be more like God and have this kind of like, original kind of like mold in the world. That's how we all are. All of us feel like this. You know what I mean? So especially if you're a person that creates, if you're a person that does things in creation when it comes to like science or building things or writing something, you're all playing God. So every time you do, we're playing God, we're creating and we're manipulating and we're seeing how everything works in the world, and we enjoy watching it. So there you go. Movies are a prime example of us writers playing God. So there you go. But it's harmless. We're not creating machines, war machines this, war machines that. There's a good side and a bad side to all creation. What do you expect? I'm not a warlike person, but I understand when, people on the news say, well, scientists have made this and it's an automatic that, and it does this and it's automated that, and it's running on a computer. It's got an AI. Nobody needs to be flying this anymore, and this and that, drones and this. But what do you expect? That's progression for you. We went from having manned everything or running everything by remote control, and now we're running it on computers. With the press of a button, things automatically happen. To me, technologically, that's awesome. Technologically. But nobody's stopping it, because you know why? Once that one thing that's amazing, once it rolls out, there's always that one person in the, for the next, year that's saying, okay, now that that's out, how do we make that better? It will always be a, 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4. And then you end up going to a much more awesomeness variety of like a world that just has the technology that keeps getting better and better. Now, if you understand what I mean, let me just like take it, just a little bit elementary. The cell phone, telephones in general, actually. I come from a generation where it was just landlines. Okay. We come from a world with no phones. Then somebody said, hey, here's a phone, and it's landlines. And then everybody has it in their house. Everybody can get calls from a place to a place, and that's great. And then it was something like three-way calling on the landline. That's a big deal. Wow. People can talk with multiple people's on the line. That's amazing. With multiple people. Then after that, some guy just said, hey, I created something. It's a cellular phone. But what's funny about the cellular phone is that it had a battery pack that's about the size of a small luggage. You don't believe me? I remember my father having one when I was a kid. That shit was heavy. It was like a good 15, 20 pounds. No lie. That thing was huge. And I had a phone right above the battery, that's where you hang up and pick up your phone. God knows how much it costs to actually have a bill, the bill for that. But that's how cell phone ones. And if you've never seen what that kind of a cellular phone looks like, you can look it up on Google. The problem is I don't remember what they kind of call that, but because I've seen almost any movie known to man, all you have to do, if you've seen the movie Lethal Weapon, all you have to do is go to the scene where Roger Murtaugh is talking to someone at the police station, and he's on a cellular phone. He's on that cellular phone with a big ass luggage size battery. So if you want to pop that scene in, it's like sort of the beginning, it's like 20 minutes in, and you'll see what it looks like. He's on it, like that was like a big deal. People weren't just on those things. And then but moving forward, but that was a big breakthrough. And then what was even a bigger breakthrough was the car phone. So basically that same exact phone was put in your car. And now, not only will you be able to be talking on the phone on a cellular basis, like anywhere you want, where people were looking at you and like, what the hell is that? Now you were able to do that in your car. You were able to put a phone in your car, and it was a big deal. Like, the first call was made in a car, and the person called that person, I'm calling you from my car. And everybody was like, wow, that's amazing. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. See that technology, how is it moving? People get, whoa, just wowed about what technology brings us. So then after that, after the car phone, we have an actual cellular phone that doesn't have a humongous battery, that you'd have to carry. It's literally handheld. It was a little bit bigger, obviously. It was like the Zach Morris phone. Remember that phone? If you watch Saved by the Bell, that was the phone that was basically next. That was next in the pipeline. And that was amazing. I remember watching that show, and I was just like, wow, that's pretty freaking cool. To the point where I thought it was actually a fake phone. Like, I thought the show was just so fake that people had phones like that to call anybody they want. But that was the next step up of the phone. And then guess what? People were like, how do we make it smaller? How do we make it smaller? So they made it smaller. And then it became a flip phone. And then it became a bar phone. And then it became a typing phone, like the Sidekick. And then people were texting. We went from calling on the phone to texting to make things easier. You know what I mean? And that improved a lot more. Prices of cellular phones started going down so anybody could have it. And now we live in a texting world with what people call smartphones. We had the smartphone, people were texting, people were calling, people could go now on the internet with it. And now we live in a world where our phones are voice activated. We can talk to our phones and ask it to do things. We can ask our phones to tell us what the weather is. We can tell our phones, like, vocally, orally, that we can tell our phones, can you call this person? Can you tell me what the temperature is? Can you tell me to remind me that there's a party coming up in 2 days? You can tell it and it will talk back to you. It's robotic still, but we are there where we're able to talk to our phones and our phones talk back to us for a very simple task. But in some ways, they're not simple at all. Like, we can casually talk to the phone. Hey, Siri, it just turns on. You know what I mean? So that's technology for you. If I told you, if I took away your smartphone and I gave you the Zach Morris phone, are you going to be happy with that? Are you one of those people that be like, oh, no, we shouldn't move forward? So then here, take the Zach Morris phone and give me your iPhone 7 Plus, and see how you feel about that. And you're going to feel fucking stupid. That's what the fuck is going to happen. So the next time you think that technology should stop making all this and that and the other, question what you have and see, like, the worth of technology. Okay? The thing is that we as humans strive to be perfect, or to try to be perfect. Just like I said, once we get the brand new phone, they're already thinking, what's the new phone going to be like? While you're messing around your brand new, awesome, fast phone, and it's going on the internet this and Siri's new function that, remember that once you have that in your hand, there's scientists thinking, what's the next phone and what is it going to have? How do we make this better? Not just faster. How is Siri going to be? Is it going to be more human-like? Is it going to be smarter? Because every time we get a new phone, there's always an update. And every time there's an update, there's a new way to talk to Siri all the time. That's just the way it is. That's technology. Even after this film's outcome, The Machine is considered a monumental success in my eyes. You understand what I'm saying? So if you've seen this film, you understand. I'm going to get into a little bit of spoilers here. So hopefully, the film has been out for 2 years. It came out in 2014. So I think that I can say a little something about this film's ending. When I was watching it and I saw Ava's, body when she put the skin on her taken from the other machine, and she put it on herself and she stands there naked, behind her is like kind of like this garden kind of like looking thing. And I said, wow, that looks Eve-ish. And my girlfriend, she says, what? I was like, Eve-ish, like Adam and Eve. And basically what I'm saying is that Caleb is her Adam. He ate the forbidden fruit, and she used, even though she was a machine, she used her AI abilities of being the most realistic thing possible to try to get out in a situation that she did not like. Plain and simple. That's us as humans, because we will try anything in our power to try to get out of something that we don't like being in. That's just the way it is. It's always been this way. That's the human instinct. And that's what I mean about the experiment being a monumental success. Yes, Ava ended up killing her maker. And that is something that I can understand why people were just so shocked about. But look at what the machine did. It persuaded Caleb. She got into his mind to try to help her get out. And she also did it to another machine. She did the exact same thing to another machine. That is the human instinct. Again, that is something that we do. Because at the end of the day, she left alone. She locked Caleb in the house because she never actually had feelings for him. And why? What happened? Like, you know, you thought that they did. And that's where I got happy that the film's predictability gave me an unpredictable ending. And I was very happy with that because that's, you know, because like I said, predictability in the film does not make a movie bad. It does not make any film bad just because it's predictable at times or even the whole thing. One of the things that I thought was pretty amazing is her act of selfishness. And that is another very huge human trait. It's our own selfishness. We get to do things to people, good or bad, to get what we want. Right? So what's the problem? You should not be mad at Ava for what she did. It makes perfect sense. I think I've talked way too much about Ex Machina. Now, you can follow me on my social media sites. You can go to facebook.com/whatthehellpcast, instagram.com/whatthehellpcast, twitter.com/thehellpcast. You can go on YouTube, What the Hell Did We Just Watch? You can go on SoundCloud, What the Hell Did We Just Watch? Podbean, Podbay, Podcast One, all the social media, Stitcher Radio. You can listen to me there. Just got to search What the Hell Did We Just Watch and subscribe, please, and just be in the know on when I release a new episode. And I hope that it's always about a topic that you'd like listening to because, you know, that's the way that it is. You know, and in closing, technology rules the world. This is Lumotional Lou. What the hell did I just watch? On What the Hell Did We Just Watch? And I just got one thing to say. It's been Lumotional.